process, or any process, is to be fully present in the practice. And therefore, Haridas Thakur had mentioned in his Harinam Chintamani that along with chanting Hare Krishna, one must also be hearing Sambandha Gyan, or remembering one's relationship with Krishna. There's varying states of determination to chant great rounds. Of course, in Make Japa Great Again, that's our objective, to chant great rounds. Not okay rounds or just getting by rounds, but really great rounds, because that will make all the difference. And understanding what the cause of varying states of determination are is helpful, so we can adjust. And one of them is the modes of nature. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita and also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, is an entire chapter that Krishna dedicates to teaching Uddhava the importance of cultivating sattva in body, mind, environment, and association. And we'll go through that at some point. And the other, as I just mentioned, is Sambandha Gyan, that one needs a daily reminder of why I'm chanting, because the mind tends to look elsewhere. Just as Akrura in his prayers mentions that sometimes a deer, even though right at a reservoir of water or a wellspring, runs off into the desert looking for water elsewhere. So one of the reminders is that everything is available in the holy name. Nothing is lacking. Krishna is the source of everything, and he is his name. So there's nothing else to see or nowhere else to go, and that's a helpful pointer for the mind. Also, another point is scheduling, because it can be a matter of making sure that we schedule in time to chant, because if you don't schedule time, then how are you going to chant? Everything else will rush in to take its place. And when we do chant with great attention, we get spiritual strength, and we feel a sense of integrity, spiritual integrity as well. And I'm going to read one excerpt to meditate on. This is from Madhya Lila from Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 21. The vibration of his flute is just like a bird that creates a nest within the ears of the gopis. It always remains prominent there, not allowing any other sound to enter their ears. Thank you. Indeed, the gopis cannot hear anything else, nor are they able to concentrate on anything else, not even to give a suitable reply. Such are the effects of the vibration of Krishna's flute. Purport: the vibration of Krishna's flute is always prominent in the ears of the gopis. Naturally, they cannot hear anything else. Constant remembrance of the holy sound of Krishna's flute keeps them enlightened and enlivened, and they do not allow any other sound to enter their ears. Since their attention is fixed on Krishna's flute, they cannot divert their minds to any other subject. In other words, a devotee who has heard the sound of Krishna's flute forgets to talk or hear of any other subject. This vibration of Krishna's flute is represented by the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. A serious devotee of the Lord who chants and hears this transcendental vibration becomes so accustomed to it that he cannot divert his attention to any subject matter not related to Krishna's blissful characteristics and paraphernalia. I think I needn't say anything more. Hare Krishna. So, welcome everybody. who's joined us recently. Great to have you. Hare Krishna. The topic is how to go from poor or good to great japa. And what are the elements in your practice that help you cross the line from good to great, or from poor to good to great in chanting? We named a few elements that Haridas Thakur has mentioned as important. One of them is Sambandha Gyan, remembering our non-relationship with the material world and that we have a relationship with Krishna. He's in his name. And also just practical things like, are we scheduling, sorry, I just came from UK, are we scheduling time to chant so that we have undivided attention? And I also mentioned cultivating the mode of goodness. What are elements in your daily practice that you've noticed that help you chant better japa? That's the topic for the next 3 minutes and 37 seconds. Go right ahead. Yes, Prabhu. Anything practical, philosophical, whatever you have, just share.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. So one thing that has helped me better chant is, as you mentioned here, scheduling. So I have seen early morning chanting definitely helps, where there's no pressure of any other responsibility at the time. Scheduling helped, and also very, very important point today you mentioned is being present. Because quite often we have seen people there when we are seeing some video or something, the mind is so engrossed that we cannot hear anything else. Similarly, in chanting, if we are present and we develop taste, then hopefully one day that will come. So being present help me if we chant in front of the deities in home, or Mahamantra being written, or chanting in association has helped me to be present. Otherwise, sometimes it happens that some rounds are chanted, but we don't even know that we chanted. But if you are careful on that, it helps. Thank you.
These are very practical and helpful. Thank you very much. Okay, a couple more. Sukeshwari.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I absolutely was thinking about what Shamra Prabhu said, that scheduling, having the same time every single day, wake up the same time and start chanting at that. And I think that kind of trains the mind. I also wanted to add that, as Prabhu said, sometimes you keep chanting and you don't realize that actually you've done like 4 rounds, but you had never focused on it. So timing, like when I start chanting at 5:30, usually my rounds are about 5 to 5.5, 6 minutes. So if I will just check to see how many rounds I did in between to see the time, if I have gone above or below, that means I made some mistake. So kind of monitoring myself. I think because when I chant and think about everything else in the world, and sometimes listen to mantra, I would have taken even 7 and 8 minutes. So, this is just me. I think everybody is different, but yeah, that's really helpful.
Very practical and helpful to stay on track. Thank you very much. Pavani Bhakti?
Thank you, Maharaj. I find it very useful if I keep my environment clean and decluttered, especially in the night before. I just keep the environment nice, so that when I get up, I'm not thinking about, I have to clean this, now I have to do this. So it just helps me just focus on my chanting than the other chores that I have to do later on.
This kind of goes to the point about cultivating sattva gun, right? It's staying clean, organized, and especially the night before, because when you wake up in the morning, you might be overcome by that passionate mode or ignorant mode that you left behind the night before. We got 1 or 2 more? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. What I find useful is, because day is pretty long, and then if we have taken a vow to the chant, if we don't have any time limit that I wanted to finish by this time, then we can stretch it whole day, and it will never, it's just drags on. So what I have seen, if I have a goal in my mind that, okay, by this time I wanted to finish my japa, then somehow or other, the reverse calculation starts in the mind that it takes 8 minutes, so 16 into this, so then you have to start before, so you wake up before. So I think it's a miracle that if you have set the goal like that, reverse calculation happens, then you fit it in. Otherwise, if you don't have that, then it can go on till 11:59 midnight. So,
Okay. All right, Dhanavari for the last one.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. I like also scheduling that Prabhu and Mataji.
You got to hold that really close because you have a thick mask.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Please accept my obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So my realization is scheduling also works. I didn't wake up that early, so I'm trying my best. 1 hour every day, waking up early, and that helps. And the other thing helps me that whenever I'm chanting, I'm thinking how grateful I am that I got time. My body can sit right now. Maybe tomorrow I won't have this chance, or I won't be alive, or whatever happens to my body. But right now I'm grateful and thankful that I can sit and chant, and that helps me, keeps me going.
Well, that's nice.
Hare Krishna.
Don't take it for granted and think, someday in the future, maybe I'll get serious. Just think, maybe this is my last chance, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
So these are thoughts to collect and keep on track. That author named Collins wrote the book From Good to Great regarding corporations. And similarly, we should have our own book, From Good to Great, in Japa, and keep track of what it is that practically helps us to trend towards great japa instead of trending back the other way towards poor japa that we fade away. It's one of the main processes. It is the main process for advancing on the path of bhakti. So let's try a little more. Gaur Premanande Haribol. We have a few minutes left, but just take a couple of reflections of anything you're taking away from this morning's session that you heard from others, or your experience of chanting this morning in the Japa circle. It could be online or anybody here.
I think what I felt is if we are among the devotees when we are chanting, I think that is the best part. If we could find some way, somehow, finding some excuses to be here, I think that is the best part. It covers me.
Or if you live at home, just make sure to move a bunch of devotees in your house. Okay, what else are you taking away from this morning's session? Monisha?
So usually before school began, I used to be very used to chanting 16 rounds just one time in one go. But I'm finding that a bit more harder to do these. What I am finding to be very helpful though is setting these short-term goals along the day, where it's like, okay, whenever I have time, even just chanting 4 rounds is much easier than just chanting all my rounds at one time, and I can do it after an assignment or like right when I get home if I'm taking a break. That will be like my break from studying. So I think it's been really helpful, and that's something I'm going to try to continue doing.
It's good to know. It was Srila Prabhupada mentioned when he was in the midst of his business, he used to divide it up throughout the day also. Very practical at different times of your life, right? Nice. One more? Yes, Gita Priya. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I was thinking today when I was chanting my rounds, I was thinking about what a good day today's going to be, because I think over the last week I was really missing the feeling of coming to chanting and then immediately after seeing the deities, and then Bhagavatam class, and then more Arati. I felt like that day is very much, I'm very absorbed in Krishna consciousness because of my association. And I was thinking that those are the days I'm the most happy, and that these rounds that I'm chanting in the morning is like, it's like I'm like an arrow being pulled back on a bow, being ready to be like just released. So I was thinking about how the morning rounds are very, they're so ideal when it comes to setting me up for the rest of my day of being completely absorbed. Or because I feel like there are times in which I do other things first before I do my rounds, and that leads to a less Krishna consciously productive day. And today morning I realized I decided that before I chanted my rounds I'd read a little bit Bhagavad Gita in the car, and I felt like that really, really helped my rounds today, because it helped really establish that Sambandha Gyan before entering into my rounds, so I could really understand what I was doing.
Thank you very much, Shastra Sarprada. And everybody else who joined for Make Japa Great Again, our Japa Circle. Keep the vibration going. Give yourself and your mind full permission to give one-pointed attention to chanting Japa, because it's the essence of all the practices. We have to leave it there. Vanchakalpadrivascha kripasinabhevacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo.